Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bodied, a Cloud9 fan cast. We've been away for a while, but the stars aligned and schedules have fixed themselves, so we're here. I'm your host, Havokpus, as always, joined by frozencreek. How's it
Hel-
going, friend?
Hello. It's going good. I'm just trying to finish Final Fantasy VII. Um, if you haven't played it, then it's a really good game. I highly
Oh,
recommend
you're getting
it.
ready for the remake?
No, I've never. Or I played the Final Fantasy 3. What's Fantasy 3 in America, at least?
Final Fantasy 3 in America is
I I think that was like the OG or something.
the numbering's weird. So like 2 in America is 4 in in Japan,
Yeah.
and then no wait, no yeah that's right, and then
Something like that.
Final Fantasy 6 in Japan is Final Fantasy 3 I think in America,
Yeah. So
or
I
4. The numbering system's really confused. I don't know why they fucked it up like that.
Yeah, me neither. But I played 3 growing up. Like I never beat it, but I played it for a bit and I really liked it back then. And
Mhm.
I was looking for a new cheap game to play on Switch after I beat Super Mario Odyssey, so I just picked it up and it's been really fun. I just beat the final boss, so this morning I was late for work because of it. So I just need to watch the last cutscene in that. So I'm excited to that, and then I'm gonna move on to Final Fantasy 9 because I think that's also on Switch.
Oh, okay. I've been
Yeah,
trying to
so
play through all of them, so I'm on like Japanese 3.
oh really?
Yeah, I'm almost done with that one.
That's a
So
lot of time.
it's so many games.
7 has taken me I think 34 or 35 hours.
Yeah, I know seven's really long. I've tried to play it a couple times, but I always get distracted because it kind of takes a while to build up, and I
Yeah,
get
it does.
bored easily.
Yeah, it does. It took me a while to get through it, but is there a new one coming out?
They're doing a remake that's
Oh,
coming out soon.
I saw
Um,
a graphic or like a meme about it.
yeah, it's been taking a while to get like underway. I think it might be rumored that they're going to release in like 2 parts, but like it's a remake, so it's like all brand new graphics. They may have like updated some other stuff like mechanics wise. I'm not sure, but from the shots that I've seen, it looks really great. I think they're going to announce more at E3 this year.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, this is not a Final Fantasy VII podcast, but I just
As much as we would like it
wanted
to be.
to throw that out because I've been having a blast with that game. But all right, back to scheduled recording matters.
Yes, back to actual Cloud9 business. First and foremost, I wanted to talk about this first because I watched it last week and I was really excited about it. The World of Warcraft team, first event under the C9 banner, they absolutely crush the North American AWC Spring Finals. Some amazing matches were held, and I gotta say, I'm a big WoW Arena fan now.
I did not get a chance to watch it. Can you share your experience?
You missed some pretty exciting stuff. So what's interesting about it is that how matches work. So it's a 3v3 deal. Each member chooses a class to play. Usually it's like one healer, and then the other 2 roles kind of depend on like how you kind of want to play around the healer and what the enemy team chooses. Mostly we just did Druid, Mage, and Warlock. That was kind of our go-to setup for the whole tournament. But what's really interesting is it's not so much about like really big grand fights, but more about like really intricate, kind of complex like micro decisions. Like, so for example, there was a lot of times in one match where our healer, who I forget exactly who was playing healer, but our healer, like he was running out of mana, right? So he had to go and drink water to regain his mana. You have to time that just right, or otherwise it really throws off the flow of the fight. and the ensuing match kind of gets to a point where like the enemy has a mana advantage, and you have to also monitor like cooldowns, and like we were running mage, so like if their ice block was down, they could actually die and then lose that round. But it was a pretty exciting event, and actually really got me, like really like, man, I really want to actually get into WoW again, and it was such a cool experience to actually watch.
Awesome. Yeah, as it goes forward, I'm hoping to try and catch a couple, but I have a busy schedule on the weekends with a girlfriend, so
You'll
something to
definitely
try.
catch them. You'll definitely catch them at BlizzCon, because with this championship win, it does automatically lock them in for a seat at BlizzCon. So we will definitely be competing there. So that should be
Okay,
really cool
sick.
to watch
Sweet.
for sure. Next on the docket, Rocket League. We may not have gotten first place in the North American RLCS Season 7 playoffs, but we got second, which is pretty good, especially considering before that we were on like a kind of awkward losing streak.
Yeah, it really is an uptick to how we were performing. I had a feeling that dip was more of a temporary thing, as I said on the last episode. So while second isn't first, it is the second best you can do. So I think it's good for going forward, just due to the fact that I think that our team is really good, and that it's going to be a good experience for them to get back to their winning ways, in the sense that it's not quite first, but it's second place, and they've tasted that finals experience again. So I'm hoping it's a good omen for the future.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think Rocket League has always been fairly consistent for the most part. Um, I wasn't able to get to watch all the games, but it's great that they did get second. With second place, they did lock their spot in at Worlds. I believe they are the second seed from North America. Um, Last year they did win the championship, which was a super hype moment. Maybe they
Oh my
can
god,
win it
that's
again.
awesome.
If they did a repeat and actually won Worlds again, that would be incredibly sick.
Yeah, that was pretty hype.
Yeah, and I believe also in the Rocket League store, C9's been pimping it out a bunch. There's all sorts of C9 branded like stuff that you can buy in the Rocket League store. There's like wheels. I think there's like a paint job or like a specific model car. There's like little decals and all sorts of other stuff that's in there. So if you play Rocket League and you want like Cloud9 specific in-game little shinies, definitely pick those up, because they look pretty cool from what I've seen.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out, since I haven't opened Rocket League in a while.
I have actually never played Rocket League. It looks really fun, but it looks like also like really hard.
Oh, it's insanely hard, but that's like the fun part about it, just because like it doesn't work like how you kind of expect it to work, so you're kind of just like doing it live, I guess.
You're
Especially
just kind of
once
hitting a
you're like
ball around like an
learning.
idiot.
Yeah, and like they make it look insanely easy, but it's not. I highly
Yeah,
recommend it next time it's on sale. So
oh yeah, for sure. I'd actually really love to play it sometime whenever I get around to it. But speaking of playing games, our boy Mango got on a whole nother level and won the Get on My Level Smash tournament last week. I believe he beat out someone from Tempo Storm. I'm blanking on the name. What was crazy about that tournament though was that both like Leffen and Hungrybox were, it was Axe. That's who he beat. But what was crazy about the tournament, Frozen, was that both Leffen and Hungrybox kind of got knocked out early. So it was a bunch of other names that were getting to go through this bracket that usually wouldn't have, because Hungrybox would have probably just destroyed everybody. But since he got knocked out, people other than him, like Mango, like Axe, and a few others, were able to get a lot further in the tournament, do a lot. And Mango won, and this is I believe his first major event win since like early last year, or maybe like 2017, late 2017. I can't remember.
Feels right.
Yeah, but like it's really nice to see him like win a big event again, and get the gold medal instead of like the silver or bronze medal.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure he felt elated with getting back on top again. So
yeah, for sure. I'm really
going forward.
I'm really proud of him that he was able to also stick with it through some maybe less than ideal results and pull out this this W. Probably having Hungrybox lose early also definitely helped.
yeah, I think so. But he's always been a top contender, so it was.
I think he's regarded. I think he's regarded as like literally the best melee player in like the world, probably. So it's probably really difficult to just contend with him on a regular basis because he's so good.
Oh yeah, and Mango's always been up there on another level, so it is good to see him succeed.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, I'm actually also curious about just Smash in general, of how Smash is going to do going forward, because I was thinking about this at work last week, where it was, or earlier this week, where Melee is a game that has not really changed because it's just Melee. There haven't been like there haven't been like updates to it or anything, and that's still somewhat a popular esport that people can participate in. And I'm curious, like, how long that would really last versus something like a Smash Brothers Ultimate or whatever the next installation of Smash Brothers is, because it can kind of get updated and tweaked to have more characters put in or better balance changes to characters and whatnot. So I'm wondering, where does Melee stand? Maybe where does C9 stand on the future of Smash?
Yeah, and it's been kind of weird that Melee Ultimate hasn't quite picked up over Melee yet. So
yeah, I haven't heard a lot of competitive
how it develops.
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot of competitive buzz about Melee actually, or heck, I keep wanting. Now you got me saying Melee. About Ultimate, it's usually just been usually people just talk about Smash. I haven't really heard honestly anything about who is good in Ultimate, or if there's any like big events actually coming up for it yet or not.
Yeah, me neither. And it doesn't help that Cloud9 doesn't quite have a man in there yet, or woman.
I mean, to C9's defense, I mean, can you really sign up for a man if there isn't really a scene to begin with?
Yeah. All right, moving on.
CSGO participated in the ECS season 7 playoffs. They won their first match, but then at the semifinals, they lost to MIBR. I wasn't able to watch, but I've kind of avoided CSGO just because I'm kind of expecting poor results. I'm not exactly sure, and I've said this so many times with this lineup especially, I'm not sure what the team is going for and like where this team will go. If they're trying to like maybe make Vice into the next DB2K and build him up to be some insane player, or they're just sort of holding their cards with like Cajun B and Vice, and maybe waiting to bring back Flusha or scramble the team yet again. I have no idea. This team is just a mystery in sort of where their potential is, as well as where they're going to be going. You never know, since C9 has been constantly trying to like switch things up. It seems like every other tournament or so. So I'm not sure where the CSGO squad is going. I hope that they can I definitely want them to improve. I want them to be successful again. I think though that we just don't know since so much craziness kind of happened all at once.
Oh yeah. I I do get the apprehension about the squad. But I do think that they played pretty good against E United, so it
Yeah,
kind
that
of
was that
is
was
a
the
step
that was the
in,
quarterfinals match.
or yeah, but it is a step in the right direction. They picked off a map they shouldn't have. Um, in the second map, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
It
I'm
is a bad squad, but it's just not what we are hoping and expecting.
yeah, I think that even if they get good results within North America, you have to always question. Well, once they get to these international tournaments, once they start going to these Blast Pro Series events and these minors and major events and IEMs and Dream Hacks and all those other sort of big and small, more international events, you kind of have to question where they'll favor. Is if they can do fairly well in North America, but then still get crushed by literally everyone else outside of that, or even people inside of that. I don't know. It's hard to be optimistic. I do want them to get better. I'm not saying that you should completely eliminate CSGO from the payroll and just cut it for another esport or something, but I definitely think there needs to be some sort of better management because I think it hasn't been managed well for a little while, and we need to do something to ensure some at least some decent results.
Yeah, I'm sure they're working on it, but
Oh, I don't doubt
because
that they're
it's
working
been
on it.
a powerful esport for us in the past, so
Yeah, they would be crazy to just abandon CS:GO since we've had so many fairly good uh, results off and on at pretty major events. I think that they you know they just need to do something to get a roster that doesn't just get completely obliterated in the first group round or whatever of an event and then go 1-5 or 0-6 or something. That's not. I think that's not acceptable. You know, especially for a brand like Cloud9 that you won a major, but then again, once you've won the major, you've raised the goalpost to a point that may not ever be attainable again, and then it puts your team in a really weird spot.
yeah. And I know the players themselves don't find it acceptable either. I'm sure, just because
Oh
of
no, of course not.
where they've been. So
Especially Automatic, who has stayed loyal to this organization even through a bunch of bad times and a bunch of bad results. I think that I really have to commend him for sticking true to Cloud9, unlike some people who will remain nameless in this house.
yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. Well, before we get too sad, I guess we should move on to some more interesting news. League of Legends news: Rainover is now a coach for Cloud9.
Yeah,
I
it
was
kind
not
of came out of nowhere.
it definitely came out of nowhere. I was not expecting any sort of announcement to happen between MSI and the summer season. I don't think we were going to lose anyone. At most, I was assuming that maybe Golden Glue or Blabber or Kumo would end up leaving for another team because some of the weaker bottom teams would maybe look to get some cheaper kind of North American talent to come in and then go to the big stage and hopefully help them out. But to sign Rainover as a positional coach is extremely interesting.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really expected him to hang up his mouse or his mouse and keyboard. Is that the right way to
I'm
put
gonna
it?
say it's the right. I'd say that's the right
Hang up his
term. It
monitor.
should be the right
Yeah.
term.
And go to coaching, but there was a period in time where he was arguably the best jungler in the West and one of the best junglers in the world. And I mean, This wasn't a long time ago either. So I think it's a huge pickup just for Blabber's development and Svenskerin's continuous development.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think his skills. What happened was that the game changed in such a way that he couldn't keep up with the changes, and his playstyle didn't necessarily work, or maybe like how his team wanted to work didn't work with him. How he fell off performance-wise is very strange, but you never lose that mental aspect of the game, even though like maybe mechanics-wise, you maybe fall off like he kind of did, but it's amazing that we picked up someone who has a very great mind for jungling, especially in the early game. His early game pathing has always been some of the best, even when he was sort of on his last legs in his professional player career. His early game pathing was always top notch, and he always knew exactly where to go and how to set up his team. He maybe struggled with converting those early game leads to later game leads, but I think that he can definitely help with pathing and some of the more decision making focused aspects of jungling. And I really want to see how Blabber and Svenskeren both grow from this new edition.
Yeah, and then to add on to it, like it's like a good infrastructure pickup too. Like we picked up what's his face for the bot lane last year, I think.
We picked up Rapid Star, and Rapid Star was a
Star.
positional coach.
Yeah.
Or kind of like an
He was
assistant
brought
coach.
in. Yeah. So I'm assuming that Rapid Star is picking up a similar role with probably hoping for a future in head coaching himself. But it is a really good experience for both a Reaper and Rapid Start.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I think our coaching's been fairly well. I mean, coaching wise, I think we have improved so much as a team since Reaper and then later Rapid Star joined. I think most of our issues, like what happened in the semifinals this spring, was mostly just in-game execution and perhaps some drafting issues, which I think could definitely be fine-tuned. Though some habits die hard, and that's a whole other aspect. But I think in terms of player development and in planning, which I think is a big part of coaching, ours has been usually pretty good. So I think that to add someone like Rainover in, I think should definitely help out.
yeah. I don't really have much else to add.
Oh, me
Besides
neither.
that, I think. Yeah.
We can talk about MSI for a bit. What did you think of MSI?
I didn't watch as much as I wanted to, but I don't I didn't want to see Team Liquid do well coming in, but after they started doing well, I started to warm up to the idea of them doing well. I still didn't want
I
them to win it, but I wanted them to do well once they were doing well.
I had a similar feeling when I saw that Team Liquid was able to go to the finals. I had this very big sort of I had this line of thinking where, okay, perhaps Jensen was right, and maybe Cloud9 did hold him back, because if you're looking at sort of the results that he had on Team Liquid, he was able to finally get a domestic championship. He went to the finals of MSI versus when he was on Cloud9, and they weren't able to really get over a lot of humps with Jensen there, and the thinking maybe that something in sort of our processes and how we want to play versus how he wants to play, or perhaps certain players on Cloud9 maybe actually were holding him back, and maybe perhaps he was right to leave if he's getting, successes like this versus when he was on Cloud9 and maybe at times struggling to get these successes.
Okay, so while you're talking about successes, I feel like this is a good time to bring up and ask: do you think that getting to MSI finals is more impressive than a World semifinals? Then, because
That's a good
there aren't
question.
many successes ahead of World's semifinal. I don't think. There's
I
one more round you can go.
I think that MSI is a very watered down tournament, just because there's not as much competition, as well as sort of the stakes for MSI really don't are kind of lackluster. What do you want with MSI? Okay, you won a small international tournament in the middle of the season. You get a trophy and some prize money, but no one really cares about that because the competition is much smaller and it's sort of in the middle of in the competitive season, I feel. Whereas with Worlds, it is a much larger scale event. There's a lot more competition. You're definitely proving yourselves against so many of the best competition in the world, and the weight of proving yourself as one of the best in the world or the top 4 in the world, I think, is uh, much more impressive and much more touted versus just we want a mid-season, invitational. That's what it is. It's a mid-season invitational. Nothing that really has the same, glamour as a world title or a top 4 world finish. But that's my opinion anyway.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I just want to throw that wrench in there because you were talking about Jensen achieving things now when he just went to Worlds semis just
Right.
10 months ago with if that with Cloud9, and he did pick up his elusive LCS championship, but this was a team that had won it 3 times on the trot without him.
I will say this was with a
pole belter.
This was probably with the most overpowered roster just on paper, where you have Impact, who has been a very consistent, solid top laner with years of experience. You have Xmithy, who is a very smart jungler. Domestically, he is definitely one of the smartest junglers. You have Doublelift, who is without a doubt, even if you hate his personality, which I sometimes kind of get irked by with all of his grandstanding, he is the best AD carry in North America, and probably one of the best shot callers, since that is a large duty that he takes place on Team Liquid. As well as you have Core JJ. He has won a world title and is without a doubt one of the best supports. Basically, I think like you could probably even maybe stick me on Team Liquid, and the 4 of them could just kind of carry me to winning a domestic championship. But Jensen definitely took a big role into winning that domestic championship. But I would say that roster versus any of the C9 rosters, you definitely have an easier time winning with Team Liquid.
Yeah. It was kind of like Kevin Durant going to the Warriors.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They were already winning championships without him, but then he came in like obviously they're just going to keep winning championships.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of how I feel about it. I think even if the ties were turned, I think I would still rather have a World's a semifinal as opposed to an MSI final, because like the only thing that people talk about at MSI is Faker's LeBlanc in Game 5 against EDG in Season 5. Like I still talk about that because that was such a wild game up to that point. So that's probably the only MSI final I can think of. Oh, I guess CLG did make a final in what Season 7 with the Sona picks.
I don't really remember. The only MSI that I remember is when the CLG went to semifinals against SKT.
Semis, okay. Yeah.
Or not the semifinals, like the finals. Like
yeah.
It was them and SKT. And that was talked about because it had never been done before, and it was with and it was weird because the CLG, like on paper, looked like such a weak squad comparatively, but they had such superior teamwork, and they were a whole deal of greater than the sum of their parts, especially when they had like Huhi, who is not the greatest of mids, to kind of come together and go like, no, look, we've made it to the finals at MSI at an international tournament. North America's never really done this before. So that's the only MSI memory that I have. Outside of that, I really don't care that much about MSI.
Yeah, and CLG made it further than, or made it as far as you, and did better in their matchup. So I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not as impressive as Worlds.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. The only last thing to quickly mention is the LCS schedule came out for summer. It starts on June 1st, which is actually the Champions League final. So I am not going to be able to watch the first game because my boys Liverpool are playing in the final there. We start our first weekend off against FlyQuest and Clutch Gaming, and we end against Golden Guardians and Optic. So those are two decent weeks to have at the beginning and at the end. We do have Team Liquid in our second, and Team Liquid and FlyQuest in our second to last week, which is probably by far our toughest week.
I do kind of like this schedule
By far,
just
actually.
because each week pretty much has a stronger opponent and then a weaker opponent, so it kind of has us sort of constantly on our toes. Week 1 is like FlyQuest and Clutch. Week 2 is Echo Fox and Golden Guardians, for example. So I think we'll definitely improve and we'll see a lot of challenges this split. I'm really curious to see how C9 goes about doing this, especially with having to, transition in like week 3. You have to transition from playing Optic Gaming to playing against TSM. Like that's such a huge like gear shift in terms of just strength and play. So to handle that kind of whiplash of challenge is definitely something to look out for. Also, I believe Overwatch League starts around the same time. The London Spitfire will face their own challenges in stage 3. They had a better stage 2, but they're falling off in the stage 2 playoffs. Left a kind of a sour note that was somewhat upsetting, and I gotta say their schedule for stage 3 looks really ugly.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it because I wasn't prepared to talk about that. But
We play New York twice.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah.
We play them week 1 and then week 3.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah. Then we're pretty much fucked. Yeah, that starts June 6th. So there's a week between them, or 5 days between them. So
lots of challenges coming this summer. So get your esports helmets ready. Put on your jerseys and just enjoy some really good matches.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We will. I guess we have to be back next week.
We'll definitely be back next week.
Yeah, we have to because of the first week of LCS.
Oh, exactly. So we will definitely be back with our split preview for the summer season.
Awesome. All right.
That's about it then. Yep. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you again next time.
Oh, one more shout out. The League of Legends College Championship started today. It's actually going on right now, Thursday.
Yeah, I'm actually watching it.
Oh yeah, I have it on in the background too. My boys, Michigan State, are playing in the day 2 quarterfinals. It will be out after this episode. I probably won't be able to watch it because I'll be at a soccer game, but I'll be following it. 3 p.m. Eastern or 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5:24. So watch out for my boys in green. All right.
I wish the University of Alabama had like an esports team.
Yeah, they're too busy passing crappy laws. So
busy being a garbage state and playing football.
I work in politics and shit like that keeps me busy. So.
Oh yeah, I imagine.
All right, that's about it.
All right, next week. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
See you later. Goodbye.
Bye.